Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this lovely evening tonight. I'm Danielle Medina, Brooklyn Organizer for Plant-Powered Metro New York. We empower people to find better health and overcome chronic disease through whole food plant-based nutrition. This is an evidence-based dietary pattern that helps to prevent, treat, and even reverse chronic diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease. Our workshop discussion is about skin deep health, exploring the connection between skin and nutrition. The skin is the largest organ in the body, and surprisingly, it is intimately connected with our gut microbiome. The organisms living in our gastrointestinal tract that affect our health and well-being. To kick off this session, I will be leading everyone in a mindfulness practice and we'll do some gentle yoga stretches. Next, dermatologist Dr. Jessica Krant will share her experience treating skin with lifestyle interventions, including whole food plant-based nutrition and evidence-based science behind gut health and skin health. And we will wrap up with a culinary demo with Plant-Powered Metro New York's Queen's Organizer, Enrica Sacca, following a lively Q&A. So I'm going to pass the baton to Enrica so I can get ready for the mindful practice.
Thanks, Danielle. So Danielle Medina is one of Plant-Powered's Metro New York's Brooklyn Organizers, co-leads the virtual family fitness and food workshop, and serves as a mentor. Danielle is also the creator of Fit and Play Mama, a fitness and wellness resource bridging the gap between adult and children's fitness and nutrition. She is focused on teaching practical and functional movements to maintain an active and healthy lifestyle. You will often catch Danielle with her daughter exercising, creating new fun movement games, and cooking up some healthy meals in their videos. Take it away, Danielle.
Okay, thank you so much, Enrica. All right, so if you're sitting, we're gonna just relax. We're gonna bring our feet onto the floor. You're gonna place your hands right on top of your lap. And the first thing I want you to do is think about your spine. The spine is the most important part of your body because it really focuses on our core, right? So if we're slumped like we are most of the time, we're on our laptops or on our phones, we tend to roll our body forward. So we're gonna try to keep our spine nice and long here. We're gonna roll our shoulders back and down. And then you're gonna close your eyes for a moment. Start to focus on the breath. And the reason that we do this in yoga and mindful practice is because it's really important for us to come back to the present moment. And we want to release any stress that we feel in our bodies, especially in our facial muscles. We're talking about skin today, right? So it's really important to think about those muscles that surround the eyes and around the mouth. Start to relax them. See how that feels. And then you're going to take your awareness and bring it into your shoulders. So a lot of us take our stress into our shoulders and in our backs. So I want you to think about relaxing the shoulders down, bringing the shoulder blades closer together so that the chest lifts up. And then you're going to pull your navel in towards your spine as you breathe in. And as you exhale, you're going to release it and let go. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And then open up your eyes. Reach your arms up over your head, stretch it up nice and high here. Bring your shoulders down your back, and then lift the chest up. And then exhale, bring the arms back down. Let's repeat that again. Inhale, if you can reach the arms out to the side, shoulders stay down, reach the chest up. Inhale here. Exhale and release the arms down. Very nice. So if you are still sitting down, that's fine. If you want, we can start to get up. And I'm going to move my chair to the side. Enrica, I just want to make sure if you can spotlight me. I don't know if I'm spotlight, but just in case. So you're going to come into a stance here where your feet are about hip width apart. And then you're going to take your arms to your side. And we want to feel all four corners of your feet onto the floor here, right? So that means you want to feel the toes grounded into the floor and the heels and all of the sides of the foot are deep into the ground here. Then you're going to relax the knees here. So the knees are soft and we're not going to lock them. You're going to take your hands to your belly, breathe in through your belly, and then exhale the air out through your mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, reach the arms up over your head, stretch up nice and high. Interlace the fingers now. Bend the knees even more. Curve your spine and start to reach your arms forward. Then inhale, stretch your arms all the way up. Exhale, bend the knees, curve your spine, bring your chin into your chest now. And then inhale, reach it up. Last time, exhale, curve your spine. Now, place your hands on top of your thighs, right? I'm going to do a side angle so you can see. I'm going to push my hips back as if there's a chair behind me. Inhale, I'm going to arch my spine, look up. Exhale, I'm going to curve, bring my chin into my chest. Inhale, arch the spine and look up. Exhale, curve and drop your head. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and arch. Exhale, curve your spine. Very nice. And you're going to roll it up one vertebrae at a time. And then we're going to do a side stretch, right? So again, while we're sitting down a lot throughout the day, we want our ribs to get a nice stretch here. So you're going to take one arm to your side. The other arm is going to reach it up over your head, and then you're going to stretch over, and you're going to slide the other arm down your leg. Take a deep breath in, and exhale, we're going to come back up. Very nice. Let's do that on the other side. Inhale, stretch your arm up over your head. Exhale, slide the other arm down your leg. Take a deep breath here. Exhale, and then come back up. Very good. Now, we're going to do a twist here. So again, keep the knees nice and soft. Now, you're going to take your arm parallel to the floor, and then we're going to do a twist. We're going to twist to one side, and you're going to twist from the waist up so your hips stay forward. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, come back to center. And then we're going to release that arm down. Take the other arm, bring it parallel to the floor. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to twist and hold. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, come back to center. Good. Nice, slow movements, mindful movements here, right? So we want to make sure that everything that we're moving, we're conscious of, and we're not just flailing our arms around. So we're just going to go side to side here now. We're going to sway side to side. Let your arms go and flow as your body is moving. Good. And we're just going to do this for a few more times. And then we're going to come back to center here. And then we're going to work on our shoulders and our neck. So you're going to take your hands behind your head. Now, if you get a little tired, you can come back to your seat or you can still stand up. All right, so open the elbows out to the side. Inhale, you're going to look up, so you're stretching your chest out here. And then exhale, we're going to curve our spine and you're going to bring the elbows close together. So you can feel a nice stretch in the back of the neck. Inhale, you're going to open the elbows out, open the chest, lift up, and then exhale, bring the elbows together and you're going to curve down. Let's do that again. Inhale, chest opens, and then exhale, and then bring it back down. Very nice. And then take it back up, arms out to the side, and drop them to your side. Now we're going to widen our stance a little bit here. Okay. And then what we want to do is take your hands to your hips. I'm going to bend one leg and I'm going to keep the other leg straight. Now you don't have to go as wide of a stretch as I did. You can keep your legs a little bit closer. The other option too is if you are standing and you need your chair, you can hold on to your chair for balance. Right, so we're going to go to the other side. You're going to bend that leg and then to the other side and keep going. So we're letting our hips open up and we're stretching them out. Again, being in a seated position all day, our hips get really tight and we want to release some of that tightness, stress from our bodies because we want to keep our bodies youthful, our skin youthful. It's all about really reversing the clock here. And the way to do it is through movement and through nutrition. So we're going to just do this a couple more times and then come back to center. Good. Now we're going to take our legs together and here comes our balancing portion. Balancing is so important in all fitness because it really focuses on your core, which again is another reason to work on core strength because balancing is functional fitness and you want to make sure that you are throughout life able to keep your balance and not fall. So if you have a chair, you can hold on, or if you really want to try just holding it with your core muscles, we're going to lift one leg up and we're going to hold here. Take a deep breath in, try to keep your hips parallel to the floor and exhale. And you're going to lower that leg down. And let's switch other side. We're going to lift your leg up, take a deep breath in, exhale, and lower it down. We're going to do that one more on each side, right, to get our core going, energized. Breathe in, exhale, lower it down. Let's do that one more. Breathe in, exhale, lower it down. Good, and then let's just shake it out. Shake out your arms, shake out your legs. Sometimes when you're doing balancing poses, you can get a little bit tense, right, in our shoulders and in our bodies. All right, so I'm gonna take a seat again, and we're gonna come to sit and rest your hands on your lap again. Again, really focus on your spine, keeping it nice and long here. Shoulders down, relaxed. Notice again your facial muscles. Are they relaxed? How does your mouth feel? How does the brow feel? Especially the tension that we sometimes hold between the brows, at the temples. You can close your eyes. Notice your breath again, bringing awareness and focusing on the present moment. Feeling different sensations in your body. And let's take a last inhale here. And then exhale, breathing out. Great. Thank you for that portion. I'm going to come closer to my screen here. And I hope that mindfulness exercise practice, yoga stretches, really helps you feel like you are in a better place right now, especially through all of that hard work that we've done throughout the day. So thanks, everyone. And I'm going to introduce next dermatologist Dr. Jessica Krant. So she is a board certified dermatologist and lifestyle certified physician practicing in Manhattan, New York. She is also certified in integrative dermatology and is a double certified life and transformational mindset coach. She studied design and visual arts at Harvard College, where she graduated magna cum laude and then went on to get both her MD and master's degree in public health at Columbia University. Welcome, Dr. Krant.
Hi, everybody. I am going to give a little formal presentation and share some slides. Some of you may be familiar with a few of them, but they may be new to some. So I'm going to kind of run through that presentation a little bit, and then Enrica is going to make us some delicious, refreshing, healthy skin food, and then we can do Q&A at the very end. So if you have questions, don't worry. We will definitely have a whole session. Keep it in mind, and we'll have people put Q&A in the chat, maybe a little bit toward the end, so that they're all bunched together. Okay. I am going to try to share my screen now. And let me say also, thank you so much to Danielle for that amazing warm up and mindful movement exercise, because I'm going to talk mainly about the nutrition and the food part of skin health tonight. But I also am a lifestyle medicine certified physician. And that means that I study the effect of healthy lifestyle interventions across 6 pillars of healthy lifestyle choices. And one of them is nutrition, but one of them is physical activity and movement. And one of them is mindfulness and stress management. So we're covering, and actually one of them is social networks and social support. So we're covering at least 4 of the pillars tonight, just being here all together. So we're talking tonight about skin health, but also not just skin deep, because everything I'm going to say about skin health and nutrition really applies to our whole body, inside our bones, our organs, our kidneys, our brains, and our immune systems. So when you hear me talking about all of this stuff, just remember that the same benefits work for all of our organs. I don't know, organs. Let me see if I can figure out how to advance the slides in this situation. All right, hold on. Just moving my little face out of the way a little bit. Okay. So what we are going to cover, I said a little bit, the different lifestyle factors and how our skin is related, how our gut health is related to our skin health, and the gut-skin axis, and why what we eat matters so much for our skin health, and how exciting it's been for me to really be delving into learning a lot more about nutrition and skin health. The impact of our diet on a few common but specific skin conditions like acne, psoriasis, and other skin rosacea, other skin conditions that we're all very familiar with. And just for fun, a little bit about diet and how we can slow down our skin aging and keep our appearance as fresh and young as possible while we're taking care of ourselves in our overall health at the same time. And then we'll do the Q&A at the end. Danielle already introduced me, but I just wanted to just review some of my background, regular old bullets at the top. But the things that I'm bringing to you tonight are what I'm really proud of, that I've become board certified in the field of lifestyle medicine with a formal board certification from the American Board of Lifestyle Medicine. I'm on the plant-powered Metro New York Medical Advisory Board, which is a huge honor for me. I'm proud to be affiliated with the organization and all of the amazing events and education that they put out. I am a certified life coach. And what that means is that I've been able to take my 20-year career as a physician in helping people one-on-one in the office with traditional health issues. I also have always asked my patients, how are they doing? What's going on in their lives? And I'm always doing a little bit of kind of like therapy coaching when I'm in the room with my patients anyway. And it's really my way of truly connecting with the patients as a whole. And I've always loved knowing about everyone's whole lives and what's going on outside of the dermatology exam room. Partly because it affects their skin, but partly because I want to be a doctor and treat the whole you. So becoming a coach has allowed me to take that part of my care outside of the exam room and become a personal coach for people who may not need a therapist or who may already have a therapist, but also want, somebody to help them work on their thoughts, their habits, and their issues in their lives in different ways than therapy works. And it's kind of like having a sports coach. You know what to do, but the coach for your team really helps bring out the best in you and helps you build healthy habits. So we use that for physical health, like nutrition and exercise habits, but we also use it for learning how to create better, healthier relationships and reduce stress and help you get your true life goals. And if you feel stuck in your life, and help you break out of that, so that all of that stress and dissociation between where you want your life to be and where you find yourself stuck can melt away, so you can give yourself and your health more attention, because we all know it's really hard to take care of ourselves when there's so much stress going on in every other realm. So that's what the coaching is about. And I have started a little podcast. I just have a couple of episodes out now, but episode 3 is coming out this coming weekend. And I wasn't really a big podcast person before all of this, but I have really found some really enjoyable and informative podcasts. So mine is called Save Your Own Skin. And it's about not only skin health and anti-aging, but also all of the lifestyle factors and the mindset and coaching tips. So that's what that's going to be about, if anybody's ever interested in following that at all. Like I already mentioned, lifestyle choices impact our whole health, from our bones to our skin, from our brains to our gut. So this is valuable information for all of us. And the goal is to minimize needing medications or needing treatments. We want to prevent being sick or reverse our chronic illnesses that we may have triggered unknowingly with some lifestyle choices, and be able to do all of that with as little medicine as possible and heal ourselves from the inside out. Because everything we do, literally the same person, same individual DNA, can have a completely different external appearing health system and life. This is the same guy shown in this cartoon. You can see his DNA spiral in the middle. But what's happening is that his lifestyle choices are directing what DNA genes are being turned on and turned off. And that's the real secret. We are all born with whatever DNA we are born with, but most of how our health develops goes beyond just the DNA. It actually is not just genetics that determines the outcome of our lives and our health. It's a field called epigenetics. And epigenetics is the study of what factors are external to us that turn out to be the switches that turn these genes on and off. So guy on the left, he exercises, he gets fresh air outside, he eats fruits and vegetables, he's not sitting around on the couch watching TV and eating junk food and, keeping the room dark all the time. And you can see the difference in what can happen to him. And just for the purposes of this talk, I want you to notice the hair. He actually has, I can't say that his skin looks clearer necessarily, but you can see that full thick head of hair on the healthy guy. Same guy, same DNA. He has not helped his hair. So it is really true. Nutritious and healthy lifestyle gives you a better head of hair and better skin. Like I mentioned, we know about epigenetics because we can see, given the same DNA, that different lifestyles and different behaviors have different outcomes on our health. And they mainly study this formally by looking at twins, because identical twins have the same basic DNA and they can live completely different lives and have completely different health outcomes. How does lifestyle medicine formally come into this? Lifestyle medicine is the field of medicine studying the impact of lifestyle interventions that are evidence-based. That means research has proven that intervening in these 6 lifestyle pillars really makes a difference in our health. First one is nutrition, food as medicine. Next is physical activity, movement, exercise, staying active, choosing to walk instead of always taking taxis or driving, choosing to take the stairs. It really, really makes a difference. All of those little choices add up. Sleep quality. That is one of the pillars that we are not covering tonight because we are all going to be wide awake for the next hour, right? So no sleep tonight, but later tonight, get good quality sleep because it really impacts our skin health and the health of all the other parts of our body. Stress management, Danielle helped us with, and it's really important to reduce our chronic stress in our body because chronic stress causes damage. Acute stress is the stress of fight or flight. If we're in an emergency situation, that's real. We need the stress to get us moving and get us to safety. But chronic stress is damaging. So staying in fight or flight over a long period of time really damages our organs, breaks down our GI tract even, and damages our brains. Social networks, healthy relationships, healthy community networking. It is proven that the single most important factor in longevity and happiness in the Harvard Health Study, which was run over many decades, was actually people who had a healthy social network, people who had more social support were healthier and happier longer. And that was really a surprise. I think they probably expected it to be something like nutrition or sleep, but it actually turned out to be social networks. And finally, the sixth pillar of lifestyle medicine focuses on reducing known toxins, reducing alcohol, reducing or actually completely eliminating smoking, cigarettes and tobacco. And for dermatology and for skin health, I also like to say minimizing toxins in our skincare, minimizing the pollution in our environment, because all of that can over time affect our skin health as well. Here's my favorite part, a donut. I don't eat these anymore because I'm really not eating junk food like this. And this wouldn't have been my favorite kind of donut anyway, but there is a reason that it's here in my presentation, and it's not because I want you all to eat donuts. It's because of the shape of the donut. This shape with this rounded tubular shape with the hole in the middle. In geometry, that's called a torus, T-O-R-U-S. And that is a famous shape in medicine because that is the shape that our little ball of cells, when it's developing as an embryo, first all the cells form and they make a ball, and that is called a blastula. This happens to be a mouse embryo, but our human embryos look the same at the beginning. A little ball of cells develops called a blastula. And then it starts to get a little dimple, and that dimple involutes and goes all the way through and tunnels through and comes out the other side. So it looks like a pitted olive with holes on both ends. And that tube that gets formed in the middle, which has the same surface as the outside. Now it's all that outer and inner tube is all the same layer of cells. That inner tube becomes our GI tract. That eventually becomes the long tube that goes from our mouth all the way out the other end. And that's called the gastrula for gastro, for stomach, the gastrointestinal system. That white line that's forming there eventually becomes the spinal cord. But I wanted to show you this because I want you to really understand that biologically from development, from the very beginning, that our gut and our skin are connected. They're basically both created from the same layer. And that is why they share so much in common. Not only are they both highly immune active organs, they contain our two largest immune systems, the immune system in our gut lining and the immune system on our skin that watches out for toxins and danger. But they also trigger inflammation in each other when our gut is unhealthy and inflamed, we actually can get more rashes and inflammation in our skin. And that gut-skin axis is a real thing that I always thought was so fascinating. Here's what I'm talking about. They both let good in. They both are meant to keep bad out. And when they're healthy and robust, they do. They contain our biggest immune systems. I mentioned the gut-skin axis, but the gut also has a connection with the brain and with our moods and our risk of dementia. And the gut, brain, and skin all also talk to each other in this really complex network called the gut-brain-skin axis. And the reason that we know this is that we know that when we have stress, when we think about stress, our gut, we feel sick to our stomach, and we can break out in hives. I mean, literally, they are directly connected. That's just the simplest example of it. But they all affect each other in a feedback loop. And that's why it's important to take care of them, because we want to take care of all of these organs. This was just an interesting topic I just want to briefly touch on, which is that it's not only what we're eating, but it's also important that if possible, we try to make sure we're not carrying excess weight, because there are some skin health conditions and conditions that appear on the skin, but also in our bodies that are affected by weight. One of them is psoriasis. It's actually been proven that when they call it obesity. So like carrying quite a bit of extra weight can actually be, it's an inflammatory condition in our body, and it can trigger psoriasis breakouts. Psoriasis is actually an autoimmune condition of the skin where our skin cells are triggered to excessively multiply, and we can get those thick, painful, scaly plaques on our skin. When we have that inflammation in our body, it can create the rash on our skin. But psoriasis, when it's severe, it's really a systemic autoimmune condition, and it actually can cause heart attacks. That's how important and serious it is. It has been proven that weight loss actually can help clear up psoriasis. So if weight is a factor in psoriasis for you, that might be an option. I'll just mention on the side that smoking has also been proven to be a direct trigger for psoriasis, as well as drinking alcohol. So smoking, drinking alcohol, and being a little bit overweight are all proven triggers for psoriasis. And kind of getting a handle on those three factors may make a big difference in your health and reduce the amount of medication you might need. Hidradenitis suppurativa is another skin condition that's an autoimmune inflammatory condition that creates boils in skin folds. It's very uncomfortable and really very difficult for people to live with. And it's also been proven that losing weight may help that condition be ameliorated as well. Acanthosis nigricans is a velvety thickening of the skin in skin folds. So you may have seen it on people with diabetes. That is triggered by insulin resistance and excess blood sugars traveling around in the body. Insulin resistance triggers insulin levels being high, and the insulin levels being high triggers growth factors. And that triggers excess skin development. It can trigger skin tag development. It can trigger thickened benign keratoses that, when we get a handle on our insulin resistance with a healthy diet, then those conditions may actually back off and go away, and the skin can clear up from those features that are often associated with diabetes. Like it says here also, unwanted hair is another sign of insulin resistance, excess insulin, and excess blood sugar, and is commonly found in a condition called polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is triggered by a hormonal imbalance and trouble with potentially with ovarian cysts, but has a lot of skin features, which is why I am very familiar with it as a dermatologist. And finally, acne. Acne is triggered by many, many factors, but one of them is definitely associated with insulin resistance and high blood sugar and high insulin in the blood, and often also with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And when we can get a handle on that insulin resistance and heal it with a healthy diet, we're able to sometimes clear up the acne and even rosacea. The reason that we're talking about food and skin right now is because of the microbiomes. Another thing that the skin and the gut have in common is that they both have, when healthy, it's kind of like somebody used the metaphor of a forest. It's a forest with a lot of microorganisms in it that all balance each other in an ecosystem, in a balanced, healthy ecosystem. They're all important. And there are healthy microorganisms, even fungi, even bacteria, and other organisms that help us to digest our food, create a healthy gut lining, and help all of our organs function well. When that balance goes out of whack and we get an overgrowth of bad acting bacteria, inflammatory bacteria, we're not feeding the good bacteria that create our healthy gut lining. We're actually feeding bacteria that create inflammatory molecules that help to damage our gut lining and lead to inflammation in our bodies and even lead to inflammation in our blood vessels. This is also something that's happening at the same time with our skin. We have a skin microbiome, and I've actually been talking about that more lately on social media. But it turns out it's just kind of amazing that what we eat and affects our gut microbiome, and it also affects the balance of our skin microbiome, because it changes the chemistry of our skin, which changes how the microbiome of our skin balances itself. So they're just so connected. And diet really impacts skin health, because when our gut is out of whack in terms of microbiome balance, we call it dysbiosis. Dys being bad, biosis, the biome, the balance of that environment. It can create inflammation in the gut, which has now been proven to be directly linked with rosacea, which is an inflammatory heat condition of the face and even the eyes. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth is a condition called SIBO that has now a proven link with rosacea. So now when I have my rosacea patients come in, I actually know enough to ask them about their gut health, their digestion, and their GI symptoms. And it's so common that so many have real long-standing chronic GI symptoms that they didn't even know to mention at the dermatology office, or they don't even realize could be something really medical that can be fixed. So I always like to bring it up as a holistic approach to treating the skin, of my rosacea patients. Eczema is another condition that when we have an unhealthy gut and a leaky gut, where the GI tract lining is not protected and covered with a healthy mucin, that's the product of our healthy microbiome, it can allow inflammatory factors to leak out of the gut, and they get into the skin and they can create inflammation, itching, even hives and other mysterious conditions that sometimes it's hard for us to figure out the cause. And if we heal the gut, sometimes the skin mysteriously gets better. This is really directly affected in inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, and ulcerative colitis. Although it's very hard for people with these conditions to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, it turns out that if the diet is able to gradually and safely be switched over to a plant-based diet, it is able to actually heal the gut lining and make the Crohn's and ulcerative colitis improve. And there are skin factors that go along with Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, and they actually improve too. Another very specific example of this is in true celiac disease, which is an autoimmune triggered sensitivity to wheat gluten that really causes a breakdown of the gut lining. People who have that also get commonly a rash called dermatitis herpetiformis. And when the gut is healed, the rash gets better. So as a dermatologist, I can see people come into me with these itchy rashes on their elbows, and I know enough to ask them about how their digestion is and how their gut is, because they may be undiagnosed and they need a real medical workup with a GI specialist. So it's going on constantly, this connection between the skin and the gut. And the more I learn about it, the more empowered I have felt to really be able to help people from the inside out. Let me just talk about a few factors. I kind of touched on rosacea, eczema, and psoriasis a little bit. I just want to highlight acne because it's so common. It's one of the most common medical conditions in the world, but especially in America. And a large portion of that is because a lot of acne is affected by lifestyle factors. One of the most proven links in diet to acne right now, number one by far, is dairy. And I'm sorry to the cheese lovers because I am one too, and ice cream. But it is a proven fact that cutting dairy out of the diet can actually really help clear up acne. And that means no cooking in butter, no ice cream, potentially not even yogurt, because that really is dairy, no cheese, and no milk from mammals. So it's possible that cutting dairy out of the diet completely can actually clear up acne. Also, a factor for acne is inflammatory processed foods and excess sugars and processed flour, white flour, and things like that. All of those processed carbohydrates and also junk food really do trigger acne. I have allergy surprise down there and I don't want to skip over it. So I just want to say that one of the most fascinating things I've learned about skin allergies is that it is not often that we get a rash because we eat something we're allergic to. It turns out that we become allergic to foods as babies, often through rashy, eczematous skin. If the baby has a lot of eczema and rashes, the food touching that skin can actually go through the skin and create an immune trigger and create a food allergy. So it's been shown that it's actually the backwards experience of what people think. It's not that the food allergy creates the eczema in a baby. The eczema may allow the food allergy to develop. This is just showing again DNA in the middle. The factors that we cannot control that we're born with in our DNA tend to be on the left side. And the stuff on the right, our complexion, our weight, and our overall health, even our youthfulness, I'm about to talk about a little bit of anti-aging, are controllable to a large degree by our lifestyle choices. So let's get to a little fun part and then we can have Enrica make us some yummy, healthy food. I'm willing to talk about this tonight because the anti-aging diet is also the same diet that is healthy for all of those skin conditions that I talked about. An anti-aging diet, we wanted to do three things. We wanted to fight oxidation, we wanted to fight glycation, and we wanted to fight inflammation. Oxidation is like, think of it like tarnishing or like rusting. Tarnish and rust are when the metals, when silver and iron have oxidized. We don't want our cells to do that. That's breakdown into unhealthy products and unhealthy molecules. So we want anti-oxidation. We want antioxidant foods in our bodies. That includes the citrus, the vitamin A, C, and E, the beta carotene, which I think we're going to hear from as a special guest later, potentially. Beta carotene is the food form of vitamin A. And I want to highlight that because it's really not safe to take vitamin A supplements. you can really get sick from overdosing on vitamin A. Beta carotene in our foods is the way to go. And the carotenoids are a whole family of nutrients that are a wide range, including lycopene from tomatoes and other carotenoids, not just the beta carotene. So that's worth looking into and making sure we get plenty of those. Also, other antioxidants, all the spices and herbs, don't forget to use plenty of them in your cooking and add them to any food you have. They're really healthy for us. And green tea and dark chocolate, especially very high percentage chocolate, are also very powerful antioxidants and have been even shown, green tea has been shown in some research to potentially clear skin and reduce wrinkles. So don't forget about it. Dark chocolate, I just want you all to know, when I eat dark chocolate, now I've graduated, I can't even eat 70% or 60% anymore. It's too sweet for me. I'm up to 95% dark chocolate and it lives in my freezer. I eat about a square or two a month. That's about, you know, that's enough to do it for me, but I realize that you might eat a little more than that. Next category is fighting glycation. And glycation is sugar and processed foods can cause damage to collagen and cause cross-linking where it shouldn't be. And the collagen strand molecules cross-link to each other and that makes them brittle and they break. And obviously we don't want to break down of our collagen because that's what leads to loss of our glow, our juiciness, our translucency, and the spring back of our skin. AGEs, I always just thought this was perfect for what I want to talk about in dermatology, because when we eat sugar, when we eat white flour and processed foods, and even animal proteins, especially burned, crispy fat or burned, crispy chicken, that has advanced glycation end products as well. Advanced glycation end products are the molecules get created by the glycation. And those advanced glycation end products are damaging to our skin and our organs. We want a diet that's anti-inflammatory because inflammation, like chronic stress, causes inflammaging. So we want anti-inflammatory foods that reduce chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation, like acute stress, is actually healthy for us in some cases because acute inflammation is what triggers wound healing or helps us fight an infection. We need that, but we don't want chronic inflammation. So we don't want to eat foods that cause chronic inflammation, which turns out to be mostly the animal products. We want high fiber, high nutrient foods, and only plant foods contain fiber. That's another zinger that not everybody realizes until you really pay attention to it. Animal products, meat, eggs, and dairy contain no fiber. And fiber is really the superfood that is anti-inflammatory for us. And fiber also helps us reduce our cholesterol. So we want to optimize fiber in everything we eat. And we want anti-inflammatory foods as well. Spices, the ginger and garlic, onions, green tea and black tea, and some of the other things I have listed here. You know, I think I might be going over time, so I'm just going to move along. Let's see what's next. All right, so just some examples. I came across earlier a fascinating explanation of a common question that I'm getting lately, which is, what do I do about collagen if I want to be plant-based and I don't want to eat animal collagen? I don't want to take collagen supplements. So I can go a lot more into detail about how to boost our collagen while being plant-based and not eating animal collagen or collagen supplements, which only come from animals. But some of the stars of that are the cruciferous vegetables. That's Brussels sprouts, it's broccoli, green leafies, kale, and the cacao, that dark chocolate. and nuts and seeds all have all the building blocks of what we need to create our own collagen. Omega-3s, those anti-inflammatory healthy fats from avocados and seeds and nuts, everybody knows. Antioxidants, including all the vitamin C, the vitamin E, the beta carotene, the carotenoids. Sweet potatoes, we might hear about those a little bit later too. Carrots, bell peppers, broccoli. And over here on the right is our plant-based healthy plate that contains all the protein that we need, all of the nutrients. You can see that you can do this without needing meat or animal products. I know I kind of slipped that in and did not lead with the headline, but in case you weren't prepared for that, you should all know that I am 100% plant-based and don't eat any animal products. And not only has it been healthy for me in all the other ways, but when I switched and committed to that way of eating, I also lost 38 pounds in about 3, 4, 5 months, not at all counting calories or measuring anything, and absolutely eating as much food as I wanted, just so you know it's possible. All right. The famous Dr. Michael Clapper, he's one of our plant-based doctor guru leaders. He usually says when he gives a talk that your body is never not looking. It always knows whatever we put in our mouth is either good for us or it's damaging us. And one time he gave a talk about skin health, and I heard him say that your skin is never not looking. So you can't like finish out the stuff in your refrigerator by eating it and think that you're going to get away with your body not knowing that you may be putting unhealthy things in there. It will always know whether it shows up now or shows up later. And we know that healthy skin is a reflection of overall wellness. And that's one of the reasons that I actually love dermatology as a field, because it is really just fascinating to me that I can look at somebody's skin when I walk in the room, and I can sometimes diagnose a problem that's inside their bodies that they don't even know is there. I hope that I never don't have to do that, but that's one of the reasons that dermatology is just a wonderful and fascinating field, because our skin really is the window to our overall health. And that's why I care so much about teaching us how to be healthy from the inside out, because we get the wonderful result of also looking our best. So the big takeaway is that nutrition, sleep, exercise, mindfulness, healthy relationships, all of these lifestyle factors impact our skin health, our skin aging, and our overall health. And I thank you all for sticking with me, your patience. I hope that wasn't, too monotonous, me talking so much. But let's take this, we're still in July. Let's take the second half of the year to recommit to our potentially what were our New Year's goals if we haven't achieved them yet. Let's focus on the community, the wonderful community of plant-powered Metro New York, which I'm so honored that so many of you not from New York City are here tonight. Please follow Plant-Powered Metro New York on social media and on Facebook, and go to the website, because all of the events that we host, which are brilliant, are always announced, and we'd love to have you at all of them. We will also start to be going back to in-person events soon, but meanwhile, pretty much everything is virtual too, so everyone's welcome. And education and support, learning more about this stuff. How do you know what to do if you don't know about it? So that's what we're here doing. We're teaching, we're educating everybody, and I'm a coach. So some of us are coaches too, and we're available for group or personal one-on-one coaching, which is different from practicing medicine. It's not being a doctor, it's not being a dermatologist, but it's helping support nutrition and physical activity and mindfulness, mindset, and getting out of our own way with learning how to think in a healthier way. You can see down here, I've put some ways to keep in touch with me. I'll also put them in the chat, so don't worry about it. And you can always get in touch with Plant Powered Metro New York if you're ever looking for me later. And that's it. I would love to go back to Danielle and Enrica and turn it back over to you guys. And, I'll look for questions later.
Thank you so much, Dr. Krant. That was a very informative and amazing presentation. I hope we all learned a lot from that. And definitely the gut microbiome is such an important part of why we do need to eat a much more cleaner diet. So I see that there are some questions in the chat box, and we will definitely get to that. I just want to finally introduce our last presenter for tonight, and it is Enrica Sacca, who is our Queen's Organizer for Plant Powered Metro New York. She is a mentor, and she has been plant-based for 4 years, and she has recovered from chronic disease, and she is a foodie. So we're going to make a delicious chocolate hummus tonight and a Fire Island smoothie. Enrica, take it away.
Thanks, Danielle. So I'm not in my kitchen. I'm out at the beach at Fire Island for a week. So I'm in a friends of friends kitchen, but we've got nothing but plant-based food out here for the whole week. And I certainly brought out my treat, my chocolate treat. So I'm going to show you real quick how we can enjoy chocolate in its best form. And it's chocolate hummus, and it's just four ingredients. And we're going to start with a 15-ounce can of chickpeas. We're going to drain this and rinse them to get some of the salt out of it. But this is also called aquafaba. You can baste some veggies with this. So I saved this as well. So I'm going to save this. Rinse out chickpeas. Add it to a food processor. Danielle, can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you. We can hear you. Yep.
So we're going to add chocolate, cacao, okay? And this is chocolate in its raw form, and it's not sweet. And so we get to enjoy a lot of desserts with cacao. And we're going to put a 1/4 cup of cacao, a 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and a 1/4 cup of peanut butter. So I have made these so many times that I even follow the order of the powder, the syrup, and the peanut butter, because it's so quick when you're getting everything out of this 1/4 cup. So, put a cup of maple syrup. And 1/4 cup of peanut butter. Now this, when you buy peanut butter, pay attention to your label. This is just peanut butter. There's no sugar in here. There's no added anything. It's just peanut butter. So there we go, a 1/4 cup. And because we have the powder in here first and the maple syrup, this peanut butter comes out real easy. Nice and clean. And I'm just going to put in about 1 or 2 tablespoons of water, and you can make it as thick or as thin as you like. I feel that 2 tablespoons of water really does it. Good job. So, and I could just add it, just out of habit. Here we go. This tastes really yummy with the green apple. It makes the chocolate pop. It tastes great with strawberries. and bananas. And I have it for breakfast on cinnamon raisin Ezekiel bread. And I take it on the road. It's a really nice treat. Okay. That's it. We're done. This is what it looks like. And it's perfect on a Granny Smith apple. Three ingredients. Okay. Next is our smoothie. Okay. Now, it's going to be interesting. We're working out here at the beach with an ancient blender. So what I decided for this smoothie, I cooked the beets ahead of time for just a few minutes because I wasn't sure if this was going to break it down. But at home, I have a bullet and it works better in a bullet. So I'm putting in half a cup of beets, about an inch of ginger, and 1 carrot, beta carotene. And this is a 1/4 of a lemon, which is about, I'd say, a tablespoon. And I'm gonna put the rest of this green apple in. And also, because I steam the beets, I save the water from the beets. So instead of adding regular water, I'm just going to add the beet water in. Okay. Now, let's keep our fingers crossed with this blender. Great color. Also, what I wanted to add is that sometimes I add 1 or 2 dates because between the lemon and the apple being a little tart, I like to add a little sweetener in. And this is the best sweetener that you can have. It has vitamins in it. So to make any kind of dessert, you just use dates. I actually put 1 or 2 dates in my coffee in the blender and a tablespoon of hemp, and I make plant-based coffee as well in the morning. So these dates are fantastic. I might even add a second one in. Take the pit out and we're done. Look how beautiful this color is. It's full of antioxidants, vitamins. Oops. Nothing like that bullet to break it all down.
How does it taste?
Pretty good.
Wow.
I love the beets, the carrots, the ginger, everything pops. Yummy.
Amazing. That sounds absolutely amazing and easy, very easy. It literally took you 5 minutes to make everything. So this is something that everyone can at home. You just buy the ingredients and you can make this very easily at home. Thank you so much, Enrica, for that. Now we're going to open it up to Q&A. So Dr. Krant, we do have quite a few questions here. Are you ready to answer some of them?
Yes, I've seen some of them. I will answer as many as I can.
Someone asked about scalp lichen planus. Is that lifestyle related?
Lichen planus is an inflammatory skin condition, and it can be autoimmune. So it can be your own immune system acting up that creates an inflammation in your skin that can create little itchy bumps. It can be known to be a sign of some internal health condition. So if that's ruled out, I don't really know if there's research directly on diet and lifestyle and lichen planus, including lichen planopilaris, which is the one on the scalp, pilar being hair. But it would not surprise me at all if any lifestyle intervention that reduces inflammation, reduces autoimmune reactivity, makes the gut healthier, and reduces stress, it would not surprise me if it would help. So I don't know the answer for sure, but please give it a try. Absolutely.
That's great. Okay, and the next question is, can a plant-based diet remove existing skin tags, or is it only a diet-only preventative?
I've heard of people reporting that their skin completely changes and tags shrink up and may dry up and fall off. I don't know if it's real, but it definitely, those tags can be triggered by growth factors circulating in the body. And those growth factors can be triggered by high insulin and high sugars. So reducing your circulating insulin and circulating sugar by changing, I didn't really go into it in detail. It's one of my favorite topics, but removing animal fats and animal oils and excessive saturated fat from the diet can help your muscle cells and your liver cells get unclogged. And when they're unclogged, they work better and they process glucose, healthy blood glucose from your food, and they process insulin function better. So those levels in your blood that's circulating around are able to come down because everything can properly work its way into the cell. So changing to this more plant-based diet, letting your muscle and liver cells get cleaned up and cleared out, can reduce all of those circulating insulin, blood sugar, and growth factors that may be triggering some of these conditions.
Great, thank you for that. So someone had a question about their lips peeling and that they're constantly peeling, and they've been tested for allergies and they found nothing. They were prescribed a Protopic that didn't help. They've used Vaseline, that didn't help. Do you have any ideas or suggestions?
Mm-hmm. Let me say also before I get too far, I'm not really allowed to give personal medical advice in these settings if I'm not your physician. But so I'm going to sort of answer these in a general way, and I don't want anyone to try to take what I'm saying as your own medical advice. But I do recommend that you follow up, and I understand that, you know, some people have very frustrating conditions, so I'm happy to try to give some thoughts. I don't know if dry lips or lip peeling is directly related to diet. It can be so many things. I will tell you that one of the two of the most common reasons that I see for peeling lips when it's not chronic sun damage and from years and years of sunburns, which is a different thing, is that people can become sort of quote unquote addicted. It's not a real addiction, but they can feel like they're addicted to lip balms and lip glosses, because what's happening is they may put on a product that actually can irritate the lips a little bit, or they may just be in a habit of rubbing their lips and licking it off subconsciously. They don't know, but they're constantly putting more on because their lips are getting dried out. And the licking and moisturizing the lips itself actually is damaging and drying for the lip skin. So it can become a vicious cycle where it just gets worse and worse. And the other factor is that people can truly be allergic to something in the lip balm itself. That's not always easy to figure out. Even from very basic allergy testing, it might not find it. So you may need to go to a real allergy specialist in skin allergies that commonly can be an allergist. There are sometimes some dermatologists who specialize in contact dermatitis, but usually these days, general dermatologists like me, we don't have all of the detailed testing available. So I want to also mention stress, because we often hold our stress, as Danielle actually said, in our mouth and around our eyes. And I know biting my lips and licking my lips a lot, and I have a lot of stress around that area. And sometimes if we can just catch ourselves doing it, we don't even realize that we're licking our lips a lot and creating this chronic dryness. It's so hard for me to answer that personally, but I hope that helped a little bit.
That's actually great. It's very personal for me too, because I find that I'm always licking my lips and I always feel like they're dry, and I am addicted to chapstick.
Yes, right. Now I want to say one more thing that's kind of a funny little tip. In winter, this is going to look funny on camera, but in winter, I literally walk around outside, especially when it's really cold and windy, like this. I don't let my lip skin get that cold air washing over it, because the cold, dry air of winter pulls moisture out of your skin. And you try to help it by wetting it, by licking it, and then that moist saliva gets absorbed, gets pulled out by the cold, dry air again, and actually makes your lips even drier. So I break myself out of that cycle by not letting my lips get in the air when it's cold and dry. And if I use a chapstick or a lip balm, I'm really careful to put it on and then I leave it alone. The habit of putting it on and licking it off, rubbing your lips and licking it and putting more on is very drying. So I've had to learn to become conscious, to put it there and then leave it. Leave my lips alone, leave my mouth alone. When I go outside, I tuck them in, and I must look weird to people on the street. Well, not now, because I'm maybe walking around with a mask on, but it's worth it for me. I can get through a whole winter without my lips getting dried out if I do that. So hopefully that's helpful.
That is very helpful. I'm going to try that next winter. So someone had a question about flour, because you were mentioning processed flour, and they wanted to know if quinoa and chickpea flour were things that they can use that wouldn't harm the skin.
Okay, this is a great question. I'm glad you brought it up, because I did see that go by in the chat and I did want to address it. I really was giving a talk about skin tonight and nutrition and lifestyle, and not so much about the details of what a vegan diet is versus a plant-based diet or a plant-forward diet versus a whole food plant-based diet versus a 100% whole food plant-based diet. All of these, get mixed around and used kind of interchangeably, but they could each have different specific definitions. And I don't have the chart, but one of the most powerful charts and diet graphics I've ever seen was showing the difference in the health value, the nutritional value of like an oat, I don't know if you call it like a grain, an oat groat. An oat groat is like a barley, like it looks like a whole piece of barley, but it's oat. The oat groat, the oat seed, the whole thing cut is the healthiest. And actually I found oat groats and I made them for breakfast through the winter. And it was absolutely delicious. The more whole the food is, the less it's cut, broken down, squished, flattened, processed, or turned into flour, the healthier it is. And it's not only because the physical fibers are more intact as fiber. It's because when our digestive system has to work harder to break it down into nutrients, we get more health benefit out of that. When we feed ourselves pre-processed, pre-cut, pre-ground flours, the healthier the source is, the better. The more whole grain the source is, the better. But it's still pre-digested for our bodies a little bit, and that's less healthy than the whole grain intact. So try to go for intact whole grains or even sprouted grains, like in your breads that have visible seeds on them, and you can see the grains, and they may be made from sprouted grains, are the healthiest breads. But if you're going to make flatbread and you're going to control how much of the bread you're eating, this definitely healthier from a quinoa or another whole grain flour.
It's really important.
Long answer, but hopefully
yeah, no, it's really great. I mean, I think that it's true. You know, the more that the whole foods is really what should be consuming the most. So if we are having something where it is a flour, because the flour is processed, so we do want to have just less of that, and that makes sense.
Also, I would like to say, Danielle and Enrica, you know, I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian, so please jump in and give the real answers for some of these things. Answer them. They're not just questions for me; it's for our whole panel.
Absolutely, yes. We do have a question about suntan lotion. What they asked, what do you recommend? They've heard that they're really carcinogenic. I know you can't really recommend, but what are your thoughts on it?
Sunscreen is a complex conversation. I will say that I want people to minimize toxins in skin products, but skin cancer has killed more humans than toxins in sunscreen. So I would love people to avoid very strong midday sun. Don't get sunburned. There's no health benefit of sunburn. It increases the risk of cancer, and cancer that can kill you, and it increases aging. That said, I want you to be active outdoors. I don't mind if you get a little tan, but I don't want you to pursue the sun excessively. Use sun protective clothing, avoid that strong midday sun. Please don't lie out in the sun to bake and tan. Let's try to get past that culture, but be active outdoors. For sunscreen, the best sunscreen is sunscreen that you'll wear and that actually protects you. It's more beneficial than not using sunscreen because you heard it was dangerous. There are lists of healthier sunscreens out there, but the truth is that the research is still being done. There are a lot of very big, scary conclusions that are being made about sunscreens. One day we'll have a magic sunscreen that stays on, doesn't sweat off, doesn't make our skin look too white, rubs in, doesn't feel gross on our skin, and lasts all day and has no toxins. It doesn't exist right now. So Environmental Working Group has a list of some safer ones, and the safest ones tend to be cosmetically inelegant. They sweat off, they rub off, they make your skin too white, and people don't necessarily want to use them. So we can have a whole sunscreen conversation another time, maybe a whole presentation where I can go into more detail.
That's great. So someone asked about adult cystic acne, as it caused by dairy and sugar. And I know you did go over that briefly about dairy and sugar do cause acne.
Dairy and sugar are triggers for acne, but acne is a very complex inflammatory health condition that can be related to gut health overall. It can be related to hormonal imbalances. It can be triggered by even starting to go through perimenopause. and it can be triggered by other health conditions. So it will always be helpful with true acne to reduce dairy and reduce processed foods and junk foods, reduce fried foods, reduce excessive oils. But I can't say for sure for any individual person that cutting out those things will cure the acne completely. One thing I would like to say that I didn't mention earlier is that a lot of people who are health conscious eat protein powders. Protein powder is considered processed and not really part of a whole food plant-based diet. Enrica and Danielle can tell you how to get all that protein with whole foods. But people who aren't fully vegan or fully plant-based may not realize that regular protein powder that's not vegan, commonly is made from whey protein, WHEY. And that is a dairy protein. That is from dairy. That whey protein in those powders triggers acne. So some people who are getting really into fitness and bodybuilding, they take these whey protein shakes, they take these protein bars that have whey protein, and they're breaking out a lot. And they do not realize it's because of their protein supplements.
Yeah, actually, I took the eCornell course with T. Colin Campbell, and he does briefly talk about that, and casein. Enrica, we've had a conversation about that. Do you want to add a little bit about what we know about casein?
Casein has been proven to actually flip the switch on cancer. They gave it to rats. They increased it to like 15% and then reduced it to 5%. And when they increased it and lowered it, it flipped the switch on cancer on, and then it flipped the switch on cancer off. So it's not good for us. I just want to also add that because dairy is not good for us, we are out here at the beach with this is like dinner for a week. We've got grains, we've got nuts, rice, and we're making complete meals out of this. And I just want to show you, because I'm a cheese lover, that we have macadamia nuts and cashews, and we're going to soak these overnight. Tomorrow morning, we're going to throw them in the food processor, and it's going to make a nice cheesy spread. So we lose the cow dairy, but we get the dairy like cheese out of nuts. So we don't take it from a foodie. We don't miss out on anything.
No, there's so many substitutes, and that's what's so great about this diet, is that you're not losing out on flavor or even the things that you love. You can just make it out of different whole foods, which is so great. And even as far as when dairy is a highly addictive food, right? So it has properties where it's really hard for you to just eat one. It's like that commercial, if it can't eat just one. So when you feel like you're not in control of your food and you're eating, then you know that something is going on. And it's funny because we will be having a event coming up on Thursday, which I'll mention at the end, that is about food addiction. And so love for you all to join that on Thursday. Jessica, Dr. Krant, and Enrica, I think we are coming at our final hour, and I really appreciate both of you for joining us tonight, and I appreciate all the participants for being here and giving us a lot of feedback and asking questions, and I hope we got to most of them. I'm sorry if we didn't get to them all, but I hope that you have taken some information or anything that we have done tonight and apply it to your life, because we really want to promote health and fitness and true lifestyle change for everyone. And so again, we want to thank you from Plant Powered Metro New York. And we are here for you not only as a bridge to information about healthy plant-based eating, but also to create community support around actually making changes to your diet, to help you to take charge of your health. If you're inspired by what you've learned today, please check out our website and you can peruse the resources and recipes, sign up for our emailing list So I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you all again for coming, and we'll see you next time.
Danielle.